The US has offered a bounty of $15 million that could help disrupt the financial operations of Iran's Revolutionary Guard and its elite Al-Quds force. The announcement came as the US piled more sanctions onto Iran. It's all aimed at disrupting a sanction-busting shipping network that the US claims supplied oil to Syria. The so-called Oil for Terror network includes firms, ships and individuals. The two countries have been at loggerheads. The so-called Oil for Terror network includes firms, ships and individuals. The two countries have been at loggerheads since the US withdrew from an international accord designed to stop Tehran from producing nuclear weapons last year. Well, Barbara Slavin is the director of the Future of Iran initiative, and she joins us now from Washington, D.C. Thank you for your time, Barbara. So Trump slaps more sanctions on Iran, puts a bounty for information that could put the squeeze on the Revolutionary Guard, and then says he's open to meeting with Hassan Rouhani, which has happened in just the last hour. What is his strategy here?
That's a really good question. Frankly, most of us here in Washington, and I think around the world, have struggled to see a strategy in administration policies. My view is that the sanctions are an end in themselves, that they have no better ideas, they have no way of reaching a new agreement with Iran. They worked out of an agreement that was keeping Iran far from nuclear weapons, and so the only thing they have now is sanctions and more sanctions.
We've seen Hassan Rouhani say that Iran will now accelerate activity at its Atomic Energy Organization and has said that on the surface the step isn't very dramatic, but its nature is extraordinarily important. What do you make of that?
I think they're going to take some steps to use more advanced centrifuges. These are the machines that enrich uranium. This has been part of a calibrated effort by Iran since the United States announced in April that it would not allow Iran to export any more oil. For a year after the U.S. left the agreement, Iran did nothing, but now it is slowly beginning to breach the limits that were set in the Iran nuclear deal. So I see it as retaliation in a way.
Let's talk a little bit about the French proposal to give a $15 billion line of credit to Iran. Do you think that will ever see the light of day, given it would require what is essentially American approval?
Well, look, there are other ways in which the Europeans can trade with Iran. They have another vehicle called Instex, which could be used. This particular proposal doesn't look like it's going to get a U.S. seal of approval. So the question is whether European countries will defy the United States. China, for example, is continuing to buy Iranian oil. And these latest sanctions, in my view, reflect frustration at the fact that Iran is still exporting oil through a variety of means.
I thought it was interesting, what was known as the Grace one, now the Adrian Daria one, has gone missing. Its transponder has just been turned off. What do you think is happening there?
The oil is going to Syria. Look, that's a separate issue. The sanctions on Syria are a separate issue, but the United States is trying to put a complete embargo on the sale of Iranian oil. And Iran is a country of 80 million people, and it needs to sell oil in order to meet its expenses. So the Iranians are incentivized, frankly, to try to find as many ways as possible to export oil. And these vague comments by President Trump that he would like to meet with President Rouhani are not sufficient, I think, to change their view.
Thank you so much for that analysis there. That's Barbara Slavin, the director of the Future of Iran initiative.